Hello guys, Furball the Hammy, your friendly neighborhood hamster, is back again for the first official Wynncraft video. I've mentioned Wynncraft several times in my previous video, but here is the first video. Will there be a proper series on Wynncraft, or will it just be a short series for a break from Skyblock? I'm not really sure, but I do have a lot of things to talk about for both Wynncraft and Skyblock and how they can be very different in where they excel and fail, which I will cover in the next video. In today's video, I will cover my progress in Wynncraft over the past 7 days without much knowledge of the game and just me playing the game as we go along. I will document most of the fun parts in Wynncraft and guess what level I am at in Wynncraft currently after 7 days. Be sure to comment down in the comment section below. Anyways, without further ado, let's begin with the video. I started off the game with Shaman being my first class, the class with the best crowd control and area damage, but cursed with bad defense and poor movement abilities. It was relatively easy, but it was our first dungeon, and dungeons in Wynncraft follow a rather similar pattern. Killing mobs to get tokens, open the gate with the tokens and continue, which will then be followed by a parkour or a puzzle, or even both, which will then be followed by tougher mobs you need to kill to get tokens to unlock the door, which will then be followed by a boss fight. Anyways, after beating the boss, which was relatively easy since early dungeons are technically meant to be soloed since you probably don't have friends yet, we basically melted the boss with 4 people. Next up, we go to Nemrak with this great grinding spot which I recommend for anyone level 30 to try, but it requires you to do the quest Grave Digger unlocked at level 20, which is very easy as with most quests early on. After grinding a couple levels, I then decided to tackle the 3rd dungeon of the game, also known as the Underworld Crypt. Note that I skipped a couple dungeons because I leveled up too quickly early on that I didn't bother to backtrack because there was an infested pit and the Lost Sanctuary dungeons which I missed out, but they will be back and I will tackle them later on in the game with higher difficulty. The Underworld Crypt was unique as it started off with a huge wave of mobs which you can fight or run through, then followed by a survival challenge where you have to survive in an arena with a powerful mini boss for 20 seconds before the bridge drops. Eventually you will get to the next section. The next part is interesting as it's a boat ride where you will have to survive against the relentless onslaught of mobs on the other side as they try to jump onto your boat and stab you while a couple shoot from a range. I realized as Shaman that you can use your uproot spell to knock them off into the water if you are having trouble. Finally, the boss fight here is more complex compared to the first dungeon as we had to summon minions to kill the boss while the boss summons his endless legions of undeads to fight us. However, as you can see, there's a barrier here which prevents us from attacking the boss, but instead we have to use our summoned minions to damage him. Eventually, after decimating his minions, our soldiers clambered him and we won the fight, getting us our 2nd dungeon victory to move on to the next area, Elmuch, the City of the Sands. Another quest we had to do here was the Kingdom of Sands, where we had to get the Emperor's weapons from the bandits who stole it in order to open the tombs to give us access to the 5th dungeon in the game, the Sandswept Tombs. We had to go to the bandits' hideout, sneak around some rich guy's mansion to get a code to return to the bandits to review their plans to steal back the stuff which opened the tombs. It was a very long quest, but yeah, it was pretty fun sneaking around the mansion. And to be honest, this is where I feel that Wynncraft quest becomes quite interesting, because early on the quests are relatively basic and don't have much lore to it, but now as you progress, the quests get a bit more nice. We then decided to do the Sandswept Tombs, which was mainly parkour and surviving waves of mobs before fighting the boss. The boss had 3 lives, which was pretty unexpected as this was the first major boss where they had several lives, which serves as a warning for future bosses. Next, we move on to Nasak, the ice area of the game. We did a quest which gave us the lore of how this frozen area was created, and it was basically about some mage called Theoric who tried to deal with the corrupteds but failed to do so and was corrupted himself, and in order to protect the village from himself as he became corrupted, he froze the entire region and locked himself in the dungeon to prevent him from damaging anyone else. After clearing the quest, we gained the key to his dungeon and I tried it. The first time I did it, I died quickly because it's one of the first difficulty spikes in the game and hits really hard for the recommended level you entered this dungeon at. I then got Pixel Club, who was a similar level to me, who played warrior to tank the boss with another assassin who joined the fight, and it was made a lot easier. I do not recommend playing Shaman as your first playthrough if you don't know other friends because it can be hard to solo dungeons without that defense. At this point, it was when the game started to get a bit more fun for me. We crossed the bridge to Troms, a level 50 area which had me running for my life across the bridge infested with mobs. Run.
Just keep going.
It says run.
Just keep going straight.
Yo,
yeah,
you're
just
level
keep going
55. Yo, run.
Just keep going straight.
Yo.
Sure.
Oh my god. You know? Oh my
Boom,
god.
now you're in throne.
Oh my god. Yo, Pog, that's such an interesting way. Once we entered Tromps, we decided to do the dungeons to level up, and oh boy, this dungeon was pretty unique. Boss fight, parkour, and everything else. The dungeon in Tromps had a slime parkour which was custom coded, and we had to bounce off walls in the parkour, which was a painful experience to get used to. Pixel, kill, wait for me.
Sure, I felt the last jump because I was holding space.
Oh. Pixel, watch me do it. I'm telling you, I got this.
I finished.
Pixel, you didn't give me chance. Let's give new players a chance.
No.
Oh my gosh.
I almost made it!
Oh, come on.
Oh, I did it! Pixel, I did it! Pixel! Oh! Pixel, I did it. You're proud of me.
Maybe.
But eventually, after a while, it became easier and fun as it became a bounce house. The boss was also interesting as he was stuck in a magma cube, and we had to pop the magma cubes before he revealed himself for the final fight, which was hard as he hit really hard and teleported around, combined with giving you blindness, so half of the time after he teleports, you are wondering where he went. I do not recommend doing this dungeon solo if you are under leveled, especially because unlike other dungeons, the dungeons from now onwards start becoming increasingly unforgiving. Also in Tromps, there is this good grinding spot and it's a great place to level up if you don't feel like doing quests or are under leveled for the dungeon. Here is a fun quest in Tromps which had an NPC who was sick and required you to go to the bank in Elmuch to steal liquid emeralds because somehow drinking money and emeralds helps you cure your cough. Anyways, logic aside, we had to sneak in the bank which was a maze with the golems chasing you around, and these are the highlights of the entire thing. Okay, right.
Oh, yes.
Right
Again, yes. Just column. Yeah, right again. Right there. No. Yes. You blew it. You went the wrong direction.
Okay, I'm out. Wait, I can't. The door's bugged. Okay, I'm here.
Run. Follow me. Just run. All of the golems are aggro on me. Run!
Golem! I don't want Golem! I did it! Next, we leveled up by doing more quests and basic MMORPG stuff, and decided to do both Temple of Legends and Reincarnation, both of which are the second and third hardest challenges in the province of Wynn. The Temple of Legends wasn't that bad, just that I was punished for skipping earlier quests because it was better to grind mobs earlier on instead of doing quests, and because of that I had to backtrack to do 8 quests to get 8 specific quest items in order to do the Temple of Legends, and afterwards fight the Devourer of Worlds, which my footage got corrupted on, but it wasn't necessarily too hard. Reincarnation, on the other hand, was a beast compared to Temple of Legends. A level 75 quest which requires you to gather a bunch of items all around Wynncraft on a scavenger hunt before being able to fight Bob, who is one of the strongest warriors, mage, assassins, and archer in the lore. He was so hard that it took me several times to beat him, and I had to do it with Pixel Club since the boss hits really hard and he has 4 whopping lives. Starting from being an archer, to then an assassin, to then a mage, and lastly to a warrior, with each phase he transitions into giving him more health and stronger damage, and it was really so satisfying beating it the first time. I recommend giving this quest a try without being super over leveled to experience the difficulty. If you are doing this quest solo, try it in the late 70s or the early 80s. You get access to this quest at level 75. Now, we then moved on to the province of Gavel, which was the second province in Wynncraft, and did several quests, including one which was about how a kid corrupted by a spirit, which then resulted in him killing his entire family, and there was a lot of drama, and it was an interesting quest. The quest is also known as Memory Paranoia, which I won't ruin it further for you, but it's a quest at level 69 in the province of Gavel, which I recommend you to do it for the story. After more quest grinding, I then decided to tackle the Tower of Ascension, also known as the hardest quest in the province of Wynn, and it was basically like the Elite Four and the Champion in Pokemon, where you have to beat 6 floors, and on the top of the 7th floor, the boss called Death resides, who will resummon the bosses of the 6 previous floors as he drops in health along with resistances to several elements. As a whole, Death wasn't very hard, but also because I was pretty geared for this fight with level 82 gear. The next major quest I tackled was the Hive, which was the second Elite Four and Champion battle but in the province of Gavel for players from level 60 to 100, and oh boy, she was a beast. We had to beat the masters of the 5 elements which she created, which were no joke, and they had heavy attacks for a shaman to deal with solo. Also, can I say that for those attempting the Hive quest, please bring a weapon mainly focused on neutral damage, because the bosses and mobs here have resistances to 4 and even all 5 elemental damages. If not, you will take a good 1.5 hours to complete the quest, like me, because your attacks will do no damage. The boss herself was Kira, Mistress of the Hive. She attacks with all 5 elements and has resistances to all 5 elements. She also had 3 lives on top of it all, and each transforming her to become stronger and stronger. Her main attacks that were painful and did massive damage were Meteor and Wave, but can be avoided or reduced by constantly moving. Also, because of how my weapon mainly did elemental damage, Kira was by far the hardest boss to fight up to this point and took me a whole 10 minutes of dodging and left clicking. Lastly, I was around the late 80s and the early 90s, and at this point, I just did a couple quests, but this is where the grind started to begin. As I started to finish up the higher level quests which gave the most XP, I didn't have much options for leveling. This is when the grind starts to begin, and I tried my hand at Corrupted Dungeons or Master Mode for Skyblock, essentially the corrupted versions of all previous dungeons, which are made much harder, had different puzzles, and had different parkour, and much harder bosses. Basically, I just did the quest when someone dropped the free dungeon entrance bomb, which gave everyone free entry into dungeons without a key. I went to complete the corrupted dungeons over and over again until I reached level 99, where the bomb ended and I didn't want to do a quest anymore because I was lazy and I just wanted to get level 100 to go to sleep. I then decided to get level 100 by grinding at this grind spot in Armsford or the Sky Islands for level 90 to 100 players, and eventually I got my first class to level 100. This entire journey took me around 66 hours to complete, or around 10 days to finish, because I finished my exams and couldn't be bothered to go out. Certainly, this wasn't the best way to get level 100, but it was done mainly without a guide outside of the wiki used for quests which I couldn't wrap my head around, because yeah, fun fact, some of the quests in Wynncraft are really complicated and really complex and you have to use a guide. But yeah, as a whole, it was a really fun experience to get level 100 without much external influence on the best ways to get level 100 and etc. I really recommend you guys to try to make your own playthroughs and to adventure Wynncraft on your own without external influence, and just do the quests which pick your interest. I did around 6 pages of the 11 pages of total quests in Wynncraft, and I will be posting a follow-up video of me exploring the final part of Wynncraft which I have yet to explore, which is also known as the Silent Expanse. If you guys can get 1000 likes on this video, I will be making a follow-up video on the Silent Expanse, or basically post level 100 grinding. As a whole, do I recommend you guys to try Wynncraft? Certainly yes, but you will want to download Forge 1.12.2 and Windtails, and to be willing to use the wiki when you get stuck on quests, because yeah, sometimes the quests in Wynncraft are really annoying and sometimes you have to use a guide. It will be a bit annoying at the start, but as you get used to it, it really doesn't feel like a hindrance. And by the way, this entire video was not an ad and took me roughly around 70 hours of grinding, scripting and editing to make this one video, and it is by far one of my longest videos in my entire channel. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and this is Furball the Hammy signing out. I hope you guys enjoyed the video.